Hey guys, alright, so a video about why slow practice is so important. Part of the reason why I started slow practice many years ago, it wasn't this video, but it was other teachers, like guitar teachers and piano teachers that were talking about practicing slowly. And I just looked it up recently again because one of my commenters was mentioning about slow practice, just commenting on my slow practice in my videos. And I thought, I'm going to look it up again and see if there's any kind of new articles on it or new videos about it, because back when I looked it up there wasn't many videos, it was just a couple of articles. So he's an amazing pianist and it's called a masterclass, and the main point of it is he tells you to practice in either half speed or quarter speed, and that just amazed me because it's exactly what I've been doing, practicing very hard things like hard, very fast runs or very fast slides, literally at quarter speed, and watch him do it. It's just amazing to see, and then he explains why and everything. Okay, it's just like a nice confirmation for me that what I'm doing is right, and a nice proof for people that aren't sure about practicing like this or why this is right. And also it amazes me at why this hasn't been a part of singing training, but it's a part of instrumental training, yet it's all music. It's kind of strange, isn't it, how it hasn't taken a hold in the singing community. Nose teachers talk about slowing down. It's actually the opposite. They do scales at super fast speeds, but they never talk about slowing down and getting every note just exactly perfect in a song and even in a scale, and they run you through these things really quickly and help you find your voice, different parts of your voice at these super fast speeds. So, you know, it was obviously crazy to me back in the day, and now with the experience I have and the experience of training myself and the experience I have teaching others, I've seen that it's all about going slow motion and getting everything right for several reasons: for the brain to catch up, for the muscle memory to catch up, to be comfortable with what you're playing. And it's yeah, now listen to this dude talk about it, Graham Fitch.
Hello, I'm Graham Fitch, and I'm bringing you this video demonstration on practicing using a variety of different speeds at Steinway Hall in London. And this complements my article in Pianist magazine, Hall in London, practicing using a variety of different speeds from Steinway Hall in London. And this complements my article in Pianist magazine, issue 78. Now, I think we all know the value of slow practicing. We appreciate that we need to practice slowly when we're starting to learn a piece because
Okay, he's saying we all already appreciate practicing slowly, not in singing. People, when it comes to singing training, from most of the comments I get and from most of the teachers I watch, no one talks about practicing slow. So this is, people know this when it comes to instruments, but no one knows it when it comes to singing, unfortunately. So let's continue. And this is true because I did the same thing for guitar. I practiced very slow and my progress was really good.
We simply can't play it at speed yet. But I wonder how many of you return to your slow practicing even after you have managed to gain some mastery and some control. I think it's one of the most important practice tools that we have. And asking around my colleagues, my illustrious colleagues, it's incredible how many of them swear by this form of practicing. Now, when I ask
So not only does he do it, but his colleagues that he calls illustrious and that are obviously, I'm guessing he means advanced, elite. He's an elite player. Wait till he plays. He's a better player than I am a singer, if that makes sense, you know, and he's saying this kind of stuff. So he's saying that other people confirm what he says, and he's saying even when you've already been able to achieve something, you still go back to the slow practice. So I'm not sure exactly why he's saying that. It's probably for the same reason, so that you continue learning and make a piece even better. As in, sometimes you feel like, oh, I got it at full speed, and then you feel like you've got it, but really it still needs more work for you to be super comfortable with it and to go even next level. I'm guessing that's what he's talking about.
student to demonstrate their slow practice speed to me, it's really not very
This is good. Check this out.
Swear by this form of practicing. Now, when I ask a student to demonstrate their slow practice speed to me, it's really not very slow at all. It may start off slightly under the tempo, and then before we know it, it's come back up to the full speed. So I've developed
now, come on. I love that bit. All right. I tell people you need to slow down, but I don't just say it. I actually do it. I demonstrate for the student because I feel like demonstration is more powerful than just explanation. I like to use a mix of both because some students like to hear words to explain what we're going to do, and some students they like the demonstration. So I like to do a mix of both. I prefer to go on the demonstration side because there's less talking involved, and demonstration is powerful. It's like looking at a picture of something. It can tell a story quicker than describing it in words, and clearer when it's just the picture. So same with sound. So I'll slow down so they know what I mean by slow down, because like he said here, you tell someone to play something slow, they don't really know what you mean by that. They just slow down by 20% or something. But he put in the rule, use the numbers to help you understand what he means by slow. 50% or 25% or half and quarter respectively.
Way of evaluating a slow speed by dividing it into half and then in half again. So I like half speed for slow practice, and even quarter speed if the piece warrants it. Now let me take an example that I believe we have in the magazine.
If the piece warrants it. So when I practice, or when I get people to practice, it depends on what your level is, as well as how difficult the part of the song is. So if you're trying to sing a really fast run and you're like an intermediate, 25% will be really good for you. Okay? If you're super advanced already, maybe 50% is perfect for you, or even 75%. When I take my brother through some stuff, because he's super advanced, 75% is great for him. It doesn't need to go down to even 50. He gets bored and like it's like, oh, this is like feels way too easy. And he's right, it actually is too easy for him. Occasionally I find stuff that's super crazy hard, and then he'll be like, okay, like I can see why I should slow it down to 50. I can feel the progress happening better when I slow it down that much. So it's experimental, but the numbering is great. I like to think of all different numbers, like not just half and quarter, but sometimes a third, because sometimes a quarter feels like, oh, it's a bit too slow, I feel like going a bit faster. And day to day you feel like doing something different as well. You don't always feel like going that slow necessarily, but you still want to go slow enough so that you're making progress. So yeah, get into it.
The Boré from the 5th French Suite of Bach. I'm going to give you an idea of the tempo that you might want to play it at. This is just my idea of the tempo. It could be faster, it could be slower. Let me show you what I would do. Now for practicing, I would take the half speed. And even, I would suggest quarter speed. Now this does take a bit of discipline. And so on.
Oh, now see, I don't even know that song. But when he plays it at half or quarter, it just sounds like a different song to me. Each half and quarter both sounded different to me, and that's so powerful that it's exactly the experience I get when I sing stuff slow. It's no longer about what the final song sounds like, it's about working on your technique and practice, but making it sound like a whole new song within that speed that you're playing, which he goes into later. He's saying you're not just hitting notes slower, you're actually playing it like it's a song, but just in slow motion. in a different way. And see how perfect it sounds when he plays it at 25 or 50. And he said it takes discipline, because he knows it's not easy to slow down and get every note just right and play it that way. It takes a fair amount of how do you say, like, you have to think about it in a certain way, because we tend to rush straight away. Like, we tend to I want to play it, I want to sing it how it is. So you rush to get it right, but you don't get it right when you rush, and you will never get it right when you rush. So instead, you slow down enough, and the slowing down is hard because you're trying to get everything right, every note right. That's what's actually hard about it, as well as keeping in time. That's what he means by it takes discipline. And you have to think about the song in a slower way, but it's a progression to get to the fast one. Again, I like to use the bodybuilding analogy. To get super strong and super built and super ripped, you have to think about it. You can't train exactly like the super strong ripped person trains. If they're using for example 50 kilo weights when they're doing a bench press or a squat, you can't train like that. So 50 kilos in the song example would be playing the song how he played it first at the full speed. So what you need to do is need to do it differently. You need to start on the 5 kilos and gradually work up. And that's what he does by starting at 25% at quarter speed. He's starting at the 5 kilos. You got to get the 5 kilos right. You got to learn how to lift that 5 kilos correctly with the correct technique, with the correct motion. You got to learn how to sing correctly at that slow speed, exactly correct, so it sounds like a song even when it's that slow. And then you gradually go faster, or you can just go 25, 50. You can stay on 25 for ages, and then you can move up to 50, or you can go gradually between them. It depends. There's lots of ways to train it, but the principle is you slow down and get it right. And slowing down and getting it right is hard. Same with it's hard. It's hard as in that's the challenge of learning, but it's not so hard that you never get there. It's just hard enough that you learn, but you don't end up quitting and never getting there. Like if you try to go fast from the beginning, like trying to lift 50 kilos straight away, you're never going to get there. You're just going to get injured. You're going to get hurt. You might pick it up once, but you're going to hurt your back. Or you might pick it up a couple times, but your form's going to be really bad, so your muscles won't respond as good. But if you start slow, start low kilos at the 5 kilos, you get every single motion right. Your body gets used to it, you develop. Gradually, you get up to the 50 kilos. I like that analogy.
You don't have to use a metronome for this. I find metronome use can interfere with proper listening. We end up listening to the metronome too much and we don't really hear what we're doing. And in our...
Exactly. I prefer to use a song than to use a metronome. He's talking to it. It's a master class, so he's talking to people that already probably have good timing, so they don't need to use a metronome as much. Okay, a metronome is essential for earlier people that are doing singing, like in the earlier stages, or guitar or piano. But because you can slow down a piece, because you probably have a recording of somebody great either playing the piano or singing, in my opinion, you no longer need to use a metronome. Because of that, because you can use the person instead, the advanced player, as your training if you use software like Amazing Slowdowner. So that takes away the need for the ding, 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 ding sound of the metronome. You don't need to train with it. I trained with that for years, training rhythm and training my hand rhythms and training guitar. And it's great. It does train your rhythm, but I'll tell you, it's nowhere near as fun and nowhere near as effective as when you train with the actual artist that's playing the drum, or with a real track, or with the guitarist, or with the singer slowed down with the software. It's way more fun. Yeah.
Efforts to stay with the metronome, we're not really attending to the quality of the sound that we're producing. So if you want to use a metronome, it's absolutely fine. You can do. You can also practice counting out aloud as you play, slightly softly. But the half speed and the quarter speed are excellent for control. Now that means finger control, muscular control, also for listening. And if I'm going to play that piece from memory, it really does tell me how well I know it. If I can manage it at a quarter speed from memory, then I can be pretty sure that I know all the atoms and the molecules that make up the organism, which
Beautiful. I loved how I explained it. Let me finish.
basically is what slow practice does for us.
I loved control. A lot of people tell me I have great control when I sing. A lot of people tell me I have great phrasing and runs. Even people that hate my range and whatever tell me they hear those things that I can do well. That is from slow practice. That is from the slow practice helping me gain complete control over every single note and rhythm and vibrato, every single note, phrase and run I'm singing. I'm not even at my goal. Okay, my goal is very high. I'm not at it yet, but I'm getting there. Okay, and that's from. But I'm definitely not a beginner anymore. You know what I mean? So the progress is definitely been huge, and that's what it's from. The slow practice gives you that control, that memory, the muscle memory, the listening. It helps you understand, hear things better. It helps you. Even your ear needs to be trained at gradual speeds, just like your muscles need to be trained at gradual speeds.
It's both technical and it's perception. In other words, how do we really know every single note?
Yeah, technical in the sense that the technical movement of the fingers or of the throat to do a run or to sing, and the perception, like how are you hearing it? Like how technically advanced is your ear as well?
Really attended to the sound of every single note in its big context. Now I'm going to show you something that is the opposite of that, which is practicing a slow piece fast.
Okay, that's a bit of a different thing. He's talking about very slow piano pieces and then practicing them fast. It's not really related to singing because that doesn't really happen when you sing. But because songs don't tend to be extremely slow the whole way through. But yeah, that first 4 minutes is completely applicable. And even if you want to practice slow stuff fast, sometimes he's talking about it helps you understand the piece as a whole better. So you can do that as well. Look at the rest of the video if you want to learn more. It's absolutely incredible how he talks about it. He's another guy. He pretty much talks about the same thing. He's another really advanced pianist as well. It takes a while to get into it, I think.
The accomplishments of a world-class athlete.
Yeah, it's pretty much saying like to be to be an advanced player or like a musician, it's like being a world-class athlete. It takes a lot of training.
I'm sure many of you are familiar with this famous minuet G. Now, the first step in applying the 50% rule is finding your ideal speed, your ideal 100% speed. If you don't know what that is, or if you can't play your piece at that speed yet, you need to figure it out. You need to put a lot of thought into how fast your ideal speed is. Imagine yourself.
Yeah. So ideal speed is in what speed is the actual thing that you're trying to play? That's what he means by that. But because pianists, they play completely alone, they don't normally have backing tracks or anything, so that's why he's talking about it that way. Like, what's the speed that you want to play it at? But yeah, so he's going to get into playing half speed.
To do this,
so he's pretty much says you play at half that speed.
You can take a metronome. I have this old-fashioned metronome here with batteries. And is a perfect speed for this minuet. I have experience in speed. Speed 126, whatever the ideal speed is, and we slow it down to 50%. In this case, it's 63. Once I have all the notes and rhythms learned in the piece, which may take a few weeks or a month or even a couple months, once I have all...
Even a couple months, he said. That's to learn all the notes. So a lot of my lessons with my students are just learning the notes first. And then when you learn the notes, we learn how to do it in time. So when I teach someone notes, that doesn't mean that they can sing it. It doesn't mean that they can sing it accurately yet at the full speed. It just means that they're learning the notes. Then next comes the timing training, which is what he says you do next. So it can take weeks to months to learn all the notes of a song properly, like for singing.
All the notes and rhythms learned at a very slow speed, and you have them all learned. Then your goal, your base level is what I call it, is 50%. This is 63 per quarter for this minuet. So I'm going to pretend like it's a brand new piece for me, and that I...
See how slow he played those couple of notes? He's saying like when you're memorizing, that's how slow you're memorizing. And that wasn't even a percentage when he's memorizing them. If I was to give it a number, it's probably like 5 or 3% speed. So when you're memorizing and I'm going, and I'm giving students notes, like one note at a time in super slow motion. It doesn't sound anything like the song. I'm just giving you the notes so you memorize them first before we even get to the point where you can sing them in time.
I've never played it before up to speed, and I can't play it up to speed. It's at 50% here.
So this is when you're not good enough to play it at full speed yet. So you're learning to play it, and you're using 50%.
That it's a slow motion speed. It allows you to absorb everything in. Notice something I did not do. I did not just play the notes. And I can't emphasize that more highly. Do not just play notes. I'm going to play it again at 50%, and I'm only going to play the notes with no regard to expression. Okay? Now that's what it sounds like, only playing the notes. Now I'm going to put quote-unquote expression into it. For me, this means I'm going to put a little accent on beat 1. I'm going to make little slurs, bring up the staccatos more, not play all the notes at the same volume, and it sounds like this. Did you hear how all the notes were crafted? All the notes were formed into an artistic interpretation. When you play at 50% and you play under speed, make sure you're always crafting it the way you want it. Try to avoid at all costs just playing notes. I've never liked that term, just playing notes or learn the notes, but I guess we have to learn the notes somehow at some stage of the game. But when you're crafting your interpretation at 50% at the base level, please try to form an interpretation out of it. Know how you want to play all the notes, and don't just play all the notes. What you do then...
Well, fantastic. Fantastic, I loved it. Now, totally, okay? This is how you want to practice, like you're really singing, like you really mean it the entire time, okay? So these two teachers were great. I watched them in the last few weeks and I really loved them. I really wanted to share it with you guys so you could see that slow practice is so important, and I want all the teachers to see they should add slow practice into their routines and get rid of this fast scale fast arpeggio business and replace it with learning notes one at a time and then building speed gradually, starting from very slow and using technology, using amazing slowdown apps, things that slow down music and they still sound good quality, and changing pitch, and then that's it. Use real songs all the time to train you. You don't need to move away into other things, into scales or lip rolls or whatever. You never need to do anything like that. And you just need to learn how to slow down and change pitch. And now we got the technology with MP3s, and we got apps that slow down things, and we can do that. So let's use these techniques that these great teachers already know, these great instrumental teachers already know, and let's apply them to voice and take away all the confusion. It's what I've been talking about and thinking about for years, and finally I've put it together in my courses in a way that you can learn easily on your own. I do this in my lessons. Come see me for lessons. I do it in my videos. You can watch my videos absolutely for free and learn all this kind of stuff. It's just that my courses organize my content better, and it's like it's all practical, so there's no kind of talking unless there needs to be, and you sort of can learn everything in a more gradual way. So if you're trying to learn runs, you start from very easy runs and then get harder from real songs. If you're learning vibrato, you start from very easy, very slow vibrato and gradually get faster. If you're learning guitar, same thing, okay? My courses organize it that way, same with the range. So that's why I made courses, because it's like an organized version of my content instead of just going on my channel. Good luck finding everything, right? And it's a way that you can support me as well financially, because I do spend a lot of time doing this, but at the same time I love doing it. So I'm Rashid Hayek. I'm Rashid Hayek from rbsinglessons.com. I hope you see the importance of slow practice in a new way, and keep watching my practice videos. I'm sure you'll learn a lot from them. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.